So I have an incredibly powerful message for you today. And it's really in relation to this beautiful quote that I heard many years ago. Pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. Now, the message I'm sharing with you today may sound repetitive, especially if you've been listening to my work for a while, or maybe you've heard it somewhere else. But that's actually really important. Repetition is really how we start to shift the neural pathways in our brain. Because if you think about it, the beliefs that we currently hold were created from the original thought that was repeated again and again and again and strengthened until it became a belief that we actually operate from. And often we don't actually know where this original thought actually happened, and it becomes so deeply unconscious and automatic and habitual. A lot of these beliefs and these thoughts we're actually saying to ourselves without even realizing it. And this can actually be impacting the level of suffering you may be experiencing at this time. And so I really want to delve into this because this is something that just shows up so often it has for me, it has for many of my clients and my students and the people that I've connected with over the last few years. I see it time and time again. And I find really what's creating a lot of the suffering is the attachment to what an emotion means. Often I'm getting these questions or people sharing with me like, I don't want to feel this emotion anymore. But it's not necessarily the emotion, it's actually what we make that emotion mean. Because really emotion is just energy in motion. It's designed to move. It's temporary. Some of them, yeah, they're uncomfortable. It's hard to feel them. But if you can build your capacity to feel, your resiliency, your inner strength, your inner safety, it makes it so much easier to move through these emotions through acceptance. I recently had a really, really potent conversation with one of my mentors, and this is actually going to be an episode that comes out in a couple of weeks' time. But we spoke about the power of acceptance and allowance, and actually allowing yourself to feel what is present for you, because the more that you resist it, the more that it persists. So if you're running away from anger, running away from grief, bearing it, suppressing it, it's only gonna push back even harder. And then that's where we create a lot of this suffering, is because we're running away from something that just keeps chasing us. And when we're numbing out and distracting ourselves and suppressing and running away, we're actually not allowing ourselves to feel the goodness and the aliveness and the beauty, the love, the joy. We're actually holding ourselves back from living. And so the way to really embrace our fullness, our authenticity, our emotions, to really feel alive, to live the life that you truly desire, is to actually embrace it all, to embrace all of you, to love all of you, to come into a state of acceptance and allowance. Now, something that I struggled with in the past was feeling like, if I accept this, it won't change, it won't move, it won't leave. And I didn't want to feel this thing. And I was afraid that if I accepted it, it meant that I was just going to experience it forever. But that's not actually the case. Actually, it was a little bit a while ago now, but I shared a podcast episode around my experience with depression. And the day that I actually allowed myself to feel the depression, that's when it actually started to shift. And I've never experienced that level or length of depression ever again. Depression was something that it felt like it would always chase me, it'd always catch up with me, and I would drop into these deep depressive states where I just didn't want to be on earth anymore. I felt like it was just too much, it was just too painful, and I didn't want to be here. And I just kept trying to run away and numb and distract and avoid it or fix it. When I actually allowed myself to feel it, that's when it moved. And that's when I actually experienced this state of, the word's not really coming to me. Like, initially I described it as balance, but it felt almost like euphoria, but in a really grounded, balanced state. Like, I just felt so at ease in my body, which I had never experienced before. So the way through the depression was literally going through it, allowing myself to feel it, experience it, without the stories attached. That is the key here. because it's when you attach to the story of this means this that we actually get stuck, and we tend to linger in that emotional state because we're attaching to this means that I'm not good enough, this means I'll never be loved, this means there's something wrong with me. And we just keep repeating these thoughts and these beliefs, and it generates more of the emotions we don't want to feel. If you allow yourself to feel the raw emotion and express it, like when you feel the bubbling of tears coming up, or the rage coming up, or the sinking feeling of something coming over you, or the deep contraction, the anxiety, whatever it is that you're struggling or you find challenging to feel, if you allow yourself to actually feel it and find a way that you feel safe to express it, you'll actually find that it starts to shift and the energy starts to move. It starts to unblock your energy centers where it's been stored and buried. And you start to actually experience this beautiful aliveness taking place inside of your body, this tingling, this heart opening, these awarenesses and insights coming through, wisdom from your experiences. Because every challenge you have been through has its own medicine, gift, wisdom, learning. And that's really how we elevate in this healing journey. It's how we receive the healing, the integration, the ahas, the growth, the evolution, is by sitting with those challenges, sitting with our experience, and really allowing yourself to feel and receive from it. And that's what I found since that moment of really allowing myself to feel that depression. Everything changed for me. It's like a whole new world opened up, and I started to have these downloads and insights coming through that have completely shifted my world. And it's really why I'm doing what I'm doing today and why I'm sharing. It's what opened up my voice and my throat chakra and really allowed me to step onto this path that I had deeply wanted to step onto and walk for a really, really long time. But there was something just so deeply blocking me, such deep fears that really held me back. And I had to allow myself to feel that fear and feel the not good enoughness and feel the depression and really get curious about, are these things even true, the stories that I'm telling? And what do I want to believe instead? What do I want to move towards? What do I want to experience? And getting curious, not from attachment of like, I have to heal this thing or I have to feel this thing so I can get there or get here or feel that or be this. It's not about attaching, because again, that's just, again, we're thinking if I do this one thing and I heal this one trauma, then I'm going to be able to get here. But it's actually more about learning how to be here right now and loving being here right now. The fact that you get to be here is a blessing, is a gift that we often forget because we're stuck in the stories, we're stuck in our own suffering, that we actually have the power to get out of, not by getting out of the emotion, but actually by going into it, by allowing yourself to feel it. And so I wrote a blog post recently, and it's something that came through actually a little while ago, and it's just like this download that started moving through me, and I just shared about my own experience with the healing journey. And what I notice is that we all tend to be looking for this quick fix and this magic pill of, I'm going to do this one thing, I'm going to do this one program, and then I'm going to be free of whatever it is that is uncomfortable and I don't want to feel anymore, or I don't want to be anymore. I'm going to be free, I'm going to have the thing that I want. But it doesn't tend to move in that way. What I've noticed, and it took me a really long time for this to land for me, is that we truly are on a journey. And it's not actually about the destination, because once you get to that destination, there'll be a new destination, a new desire, something else that you want. And we don't even allow ourselves to celebrate that we got to that initial destination or that we achieved something. We're just on to the next thing. So it's like you get a moment of like, I did the thing, like maybe you get a bit of happiness or a bliss or a dopamine hit and you're excited, but then you just move on to the next thing. So we're spending all this time and energy doing all this work to get somewhere that we get a moment of peace or happiness or bliss. if we can shift our mindset and our way of being, of actually coming into embracing the journey and loving each moment, that's where the true euphoria and bliss and happiness really lies. And it took me a long while to shift that. I heard that the quote, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I would speak that quote and share it with as many people that I could, but I never really believed it because I so deeply was attached to the destination, thinking that when I got to the destination, when my external world changed, then I would be happy. When I had the relationship, when I had the business, when I had the money, when I had the home, then I would be happy. But I've achieved many, many milestones on my journey. And when I got to those milestones, it didn't actually change my internal state. And I've had really beautiful milestones that I got there and I actually felt less happy. I felt less accomplished. I felt less of all the things that I was hoping to feel. And this was really enlightening to me and really mind-blowing, and it really helped me to shift in coming into the journey, embracing the journey, because I started to realize and have the experience of actually the destination is not going to bring me any closer to happiness. What has brought me to happiness and acceptance and gratitude and love for life is being in the moment and learning to really embrace the moment by allowing myself to feel what's present and move through it rather than running away from it and exhausting myself and stressing out and fixating on the stories. It was really just coming into a state of surrender, of letting go and being present and allowing. And so what can you do here? What is something that you can do right now to start shifting into this as well? And it's something that I share often, and it's just stop and slow down and actually listen to what's going on inside of you. Stop running away and just take a few moments here and now to actually feel what is present inside of your body, what is happening inside of you. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you experiencing? And can you really give yourself that permission and that allowance to just be here? There's nowhere else you need to be. There's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to heal. Because often we're like, I've got to heal all these things. I've got to fix all these things before I can be happy. I've got to achieve all these things. But actually, you can cultivate and experience happiness right here, right now, by coming into gratitude and appreciation for the life that you get to live. You get to be here. You get to have the relationships you have. You get to have the partner, the children, the house, or whatever it is that you have in your life. You get to have them. And if we start to shift that, because a lot of it is in our language, how we speak to ourselves, how we think, how we speak to others, there's so much in your wording, in your language, that if we become really aware of how we're actually communicating, something that I notice all the time, and I will actually bring awareness to this just again and again and again. And what I notice is people will still tend to go back to this. So I'm going to share it. And it tends to be that we focus on what we don't want, but then we wonder why that keeps showing up. And if you just take a moment to really sit with that and really acknowledge that, of like, what are you focusing on? Because where your focus goes is where your energy flows. You are a master creator, whether you acknowledge that or not, whether you're conscious of that or not, whether you believe it or not. You are creating all of the time. So become aware of your language, become aware of your thoughts. Not from a place of I have to change it, I have to stop certain thoughts, I have to do all my affirmations. It's not about that. It's actually just becoming present with what's here. And the moment that you see it, you reclaim a bit of your power and you have a choice that you can make. You can set that boundary with yourself of, I'm no longer going to put myself down in this way. I'm no longer going to focus on all my worries and stresses and the things that are going wrong. And instead, I'm choosing to focus on an empowering truth. I'm choosing to focus on what I am creating, what I am building. I'm choosing to focus on what I'm grateful for and all the blessings that I have received. It's really a choice, and then it's a consistent practice. And now we don't wrong ourselves if we go the other way again, if we go back to focusing on the worries, the stresses, what we don't want. We acknowledge it, we become aware of it. Oh yeah, look, I'm doing that thing again, have a laugh, and then bring your awareness back to, okay, why is this coming back up? What is here for me to feel? Am I afraid of something? Am I feeling unsafe? What do I need to support myself through this? And then remind yourself of that empowering truth. Remind yourself of that new story that you're telling yourself. Remind yourself of all the blessings that you have. Remind yourself of where you're heading, what you're creating, what you're excited about, and shift that energy from inside of you and watch everything around you change. But first you must get still. You must slow down and listen. And then you'll start to notice, you start to feel a lot of stuff again. And then you might go back into those coping mechanisms of numbing and distracting because feeling has become uncomfortable. Even feeling the good has become uncomfortable because it's feeling, it feels vulnerable. It feels like, oh, like there's a lot of energy here. I don't know if I can handle this. Start by connecting to your sensations. It tends to be a lot less scary than when we start to set an intention about feeling a certain emotion. Start with your physical sensations, and I have an amazing guided practice on my app, Raw Embodiment. It's free to download, free to sign up, and you can get access to this practice for free. It's the felt sensation practice of just starting to reconnect to your body and your felt sense, the sensations that are moving through your body. The sensations are the language of the body, and it will reveal a whole lot to you if you allow it to. And then you may notice as you do this practice, you may start to connect and tune into different emotions that need to be felt. We really need to learn how to feel again. And that is the key to really experiencing true aliveness and happiness and having the life you truly desire right now. Not in a month from now, not in a year from now, not once you have the house, not once you have the relationship, not once you have the thing, but right here and right now. So I trust that if you're listening to this, this is a message that is for you, and I trust that you received exactly what you needed. Even if you didn't receive it in this moment, think of it like a seed that's being planted, that maybe it drops tomorrow, maybe that lands for you in a few days, maybe you hear something else or you connect to something else. Like the synchronicities that are happening all the time that we often miss, they're always there, but when we start to become aware and we start to slow down and we're present, we start to see how everything is working out for us. There is so much divinity within us and all around us, guiding you on your journey. You are never alone on this journey. So if you need to listen to this message again, just to really help all of this land and really follow those tips of what do I do from here? How do I move out of a state of suffering and into a state of aliveness and enjoyment and happiness? Listen to this message as many times as you need. And if you want to take it that next step deeper and really embody this is what I'm going to be diving into this week in my Embody Masterclass. The Embody Masterclass is all about embracing all of you, building your capacity to feel again and to have this aliveness in your body again. And it's really also, we're going to be going really deep into building your capacity to receive. Because a lot of us, it's like, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, and therefore we're trying to control and we're trying to distract and we're trying to do heaps of things and go. We need to slow down. We need to take that pause and we need to start to actually come into the energy of receiving if you want to receive the life that you want and the different things that you desire to have. You need to know how to be in a state of receptivity, but you need to be in the present and really anchoring in the frequencies of feeling how you want to feel when that thing happens. You need to feel it now. We're waiting until the thing happens before we feel happy, joy, bliss, alive. But we've got to actually align to that frequency and become receptive, open to receive. And so we're going to dive into that in the Embody Masterclass this week. We start on Thursday, the 19th of October, so get your ticket if you haven't already. We're also going to be doing some amazing prizes and giveaways for those who really show up and play full out. I really love to reward those who are showing up for themselves. And I feel like when we show up for ourselves, it really creates this beautiful ripple effect that impacts all of humanity. And I think that's just such an amazing thing, and such a gift for the world. And I think the more that we rise and elevate and raise our frequency, it just supports so many others to do the same, and it really gives that permission slip for others to do the same. So get your ticket. I've got the link below to make it easy for you, and definitely check out that blog post. It's called The Healing Journey is Not Black and White, and it's really talking about how there's all these shades of grey within the healing journey. And it's just what I've been sharing in this episode about, we tend to think, I'll do this one thing, this one program, this one practice, and my whole life will change. And you know what? Maybe it will. It definitely will shift something for you that will redirect you on your path. But it's not that we get to a place of enlightenment and then we're done, we're complete. There is so much to explore while we're here in this human experience. There is so much to experience, there's so much to feel, there's so much available to us, but we get stuck by pushing down, by pushing away, by resisting, by suppressing, by numbing out and distracting. So I'm here to support you in coming home, coming back to your authentic self, your uniqueness, your fullest expression, and living a truly incredible human life. So I hope to see you at the masterclass. If not, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. Sending you so much love.